Alright, you're welcome back to this tutorial. In this tutorial, of course, we are continuing with how to configure your MT4 for for trading. And what we're going to be doing in this tutorial is how to configure your Fibonacci tool, your Fibonacci retracement tool. And this is where you have the Fibonacci. The way I'm pointing to now, that a couple of lines having F as the at the bottom of it, that is actually your Fibonacci tool. So to configure that, just double click it and come on your chart. All right, hold down the left click and just draw it out. Okay, draw it out. As you can see, it seems not to be really very visible, and of course you may want to change certain parameter. So we're going to be changing the color. I'm going to be also changing certain parameters. So for us to do that, just double click on the line, on the slant line, that slant vertical line. Just double click on it until there's this. When you double click on it, there's going to be these three dots along the lines that is going to come up telling you that it is now activated. Now place your cursor on any of the white dots on that slant vertical line and right click on it. Then you will have a couple of options popping out. There you have Fibo properties, and that is exactly where you want to that's where you want to go. That's where you're going to be changing. So you click Fibo properties, and here we are going to be changing a couple of things. Now the first thing is that find the line, that slant line is that's where you are having that red stuff. So we actually want to change a couple of things about that line. Number one, we want to make it a bold line. All right, we actually want to make it something bold, something straight, instead of those dotted or wherever. Now if you want to draw it, actually I always like to draw my Fibonacci as a background, to be at the background of whatever chart I'm working on. I don't want it to superimpose on on the candlestick. So I'm going to check that. Now we go to Fibo levels, and we're going to be making some changes. Okay, we are going to be making some changes. As a matter of fact, in my use of Fibonacci, I there are certain levels I don't work with. Okay, there are certain levels of Fibonacci that I don't work with, and I'm going to be removing them from here. And there's some other levels that I also work with. I'm going to be including them right here. Now I don't use 23.6% and 38.2% retracement. I don't use them, so I'm going to be removing them immediately. All I have to do is just to click once on it and I go to delete. Okay, then it is deleted once. These the other one, that is 38.2, is also highlighted. I simply just delete that. So for certain reasons, sometimes I use 50% for sometimes for me to to know exactly where like my entry should be. Let's say for example, I already have marked an hobby, for entry, and I actually want 50% of that hobby, right, to be my entry point. So I can always place my Fibonacci on that particular candlestick and mark out the 50%, and all that. Now I'm going to also be making some alterations here. Yes, I'm going to be adding two levels. Okay, I'm going to be adding two. Sorry. There's some of these levels that I don't actually use. This is like 1.618. I don't use them. I'm going to remove them. I'm going to remove those levels I'm not using. All right. So now the next I want to add some levels, and you can also make use of these levels in your own, in your own wherever. And number one I'm going to be using is 7, and that's going to be 70.0. Okay. All right. So I have that level. I'm going to be adding 79. That's going to be 0.79. Then the level is going to be 0.79. Then description is going to be what? 79. Okay. Really very simple. 79.0 if you want. You can put 0 if if you want. You can actually put it. Then I'm going to be adding an extension. Okay. And this time around I'm going to be using, don't worry, just follow what I'm doing. Right, I'm doing here. Just click minus. All right. Type minus in front of that 0, then move your cursor to after the decimal point and put in 27. Okay, put 27. All right. So under description you're going to put minus 27.0. All right, minus 27.0. All right, I'm going to add another level again, minus 68, minus 68. Then here I'm going to put minus 68.0. Then the last one is going to be minus 78. And under description I'm going to put minus 78.0. Okay. And my job right there is actually done. Then under it I'm going to change. I don't think I feel that those yellow stuff are really very visible, so I want to change that color. The yellow, these horizontal lines are the style, okay, that is actually talking about. So I want to change that to something that is more visible, maybe something much more bolder than what we currently have. Let's see what we can play with. Can we play with um, deep pink? Okay, let's play with that. All right, that's much about it on Fibo levels. And if you don't really like, if you don't like the color, we can always come back and just re-edit the color before to whatever it is we actually feel comfortable with. All right. So basically, when you come to parameter, there's nothing much to actually change on the parameters. All right. Visualization, show on all time frames. That is exactly what I really want, because I actually want my Fibo levels. If I draw a Fibo level on an H4, I want it to have, I want it to appear all across my charts from all that time frames. So I'm going to leave it at show on all the time frames. Okay, so I'm done. My work here is done, so I'm going to click OK. All right, as you can see, now we have a fib tool that is recalibrated. You no longer have that 27% levels and 38.2 percent levels. Okay, you no longer have them. Now the extensions that we added are now here, the minus 27, the minus 68, and the minus 78. They are all here now. So as time goes on, of course, in all that tutorials, if you have to use Fibonacci tool in any of our analysis, and you don't know how we get into this, we can now go back in there and come back to this particular tutorial to really check out how we configure that our Fibonacci tool. All right, so that's going to be it for this tutorial. If there is anything you really you don't really understand, you can always go back there. You can always walk around your fib your fib your fib tool. You can change if you want something much more thicker, as in the lines, you can actually change and it's going to appear. You can see it's now like thicker than it's used to be. But for me, I don't really like it to be really this thick. All right, I don't really, that's personal. It doesn't have to be for everybody, but that's just for me. I don't really like the horizontal lines to be to be really that bogus. Once I can actually see the horizontal lines and can see the whatever it is I really want to do, and I think I'm fine with that. All right, so that's going to be the end of this tutorial. I see you in the next one.